Good morning and welcome to the September 12th meeting of the Citizen Oversight Board. Excited about the convening today. Most likely we will adjourn fairly early in the session to executive session to cover the draft audit report of the monitor's office. And so it will likely be a short public session today because that is draft. That is why we will be covering it in executive session. Just a couple of notes. We had initially hoped to meet with the Executive Director of Public Safety today, but given that when we scheduled the meeting and between now and when we scheduled the meeting, we have had an interim Executive Director of Safety and now I don't know what it's called, an appointee that still needs to be approved by City Council Al Gardner. So we were unable to have Al on the meeting today, just stepped into the role last week. So we've decided to delay our meeting with the Executive Director of Safety, but are working on maybe an evening community forum where he can introduce himself and his priorities later this month. So more information to come, stay tuned. Last weekend, many of us attended a town hall hosted by Brother Jeff, which was attended by Chief Thomas and Independent Monitor Castle to cover education-based development again. The recording is available on the Brother Jeff Facebook page if folks want to watch it. Worth mentioning also that DBD has extended their public comment for EBD. DPD has extended their public comment for EBD until the end of this month, September 30th. They have also changed the policy, I think, for the third time in this public process, which I have never seen before.
And to change again.
Yes. So it's sort of like Dottie saying, like, can you review the 6th Avenue transportation plan? And then being like, just kidding, the 8th Avenue transportation plan, just kidding, the Colfax transportation plan. But like, that's okay. The public is smart and can figure it out. So a new draft is available for all who have commented on previous drafts. And that was updated on September 2nd. So if anyone has time to review 3 rounds of this, it is not standard to change the document in the middle of public process. I will just say that one more time. Then we'll see sort of what comes from there. Coming out of the town hall, Chief Thomas did agree to work with some members of the public to provide more information on what offenses are covered by EBD, engaging with the public around more discussion. So that's good. So we'll see sort of what comes of that. The first sort of agreement to engage with the public on this policy. Let's see, changes to the policy that resulted in the September 2nd update. Officers are now required to admit responsibility for a violation before they're eligible for EBD. EBD offenses can now be used to aggravate future offenses, which was an important item for both the COB and OIM. And then EBD training will no longer count towards annual training. And then the eligibility of several specific policy areas has been updated, including the failure to meet firearms proficiency, which is now ineligible for EBD. Also of note, despite the fact that the police chief keeps saying we will have complete and thorough investigations, the language continues to not say that. And in fact, the current policy reverts back to the language of EBD from a previous draft, which only includes preliminary investigation. And so again, we're in this sort of like what's being said out loud does not match the words written down. This is a significant issue because without a thorough and complete investigation, it would be hard to identify what category of conduct the conduct relates to in the matrix. And so, we have pointed this out repeatedly. The chief has said repeatedly that it will be a thorough and complete investigation. It continues to not be that.
Julia?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, so did it at one time uh, did a version at one time have thorough and complete investigation?
No version has ever incurred.
Okay,
Yes.
so it wasn't
No.
that he backtracked, it's just that he hasn't inserted the new language.
It is a backtrack because the language was at least a preliminary investigation, right? Like I've lost track of how many drafts, but like it was more heading towards thorough and complete. It was not thorough and complete, but now it is more heading towards who knows
Right,
grand
Regina,
okay,
investigation. Yeah.
Regina,
okay.
if I may, we asked for that specific language and that was rejected. So it's not a question of even what version of it was it. We said, put the words in the draft and they refused.
Okay, so he's actually rejected that recommendation.
It
That's
is
correct.
rejected in writing. And what he says orally is that it will be a thorough and complete investigation.
I
But the
have heard him say that
many times.
at the council mayor meeting.
Correct.
So we have it in recorded
Yes.
version of him saying that.
It's
Okay.
always on, it was on Brother Jeff. It was on his presentation
Yes.
to City Council. He has said it to the media. It's everywhere. He continues to use that language. However, the language is not in the draft. And the last part of that was their refusal to put it in the draft. So
Okay,
that's where
thank
we
you.
are.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah. It has always been a point of contention and also clearly confusion. So more to come on that. Let's see. Continue to be 2 seats on the board that we need to fill. One seat is appointed by the mayor and one seat is appointed by city council. Maybe if we enrage Karen for long enough, she'll join us again. So we'll just see sort of where that goes. But Karen, thank you for continuing to serve, even though you are ready to stop serving. More information is available on our website. Okay, another update. I am serving on a task force, which is called the Surveillance Task Force. As a COB member, the Surveillance Task Force for now is focused specifically on the issue of flock, although I continue to encourage the committee to think more broadly, considering there are a number of surveillance tools that the police department is using. In that meeting, Councilwoman provided sort of a summary timeline and facts around flock, and things that include how we got here. The COB was presented with this information February of 24. Is that right, Daniel? Or 23, 24? 24. And, we were sort of told at the time this was a pilot. The purpose was really to reduce auto theft. What we see in the data is that, under 2% of auto theft crimes involve flock as a solution. And so it has had a de minimis impact on auto theft. The police department will state that it has helped with violent crime and gun crime. But again, those are very small numbers compared to the 2 million license plates that are gathered monthly by people driving through Denver. What turns out to be true is that the City of Denver was not supposed to be subscribed to the national network, but the default setting upon implementation is to be engaged in the national network. And so it sounds like perhaps it was a default toggle that we didn't turn the right direction. And so we are no longer on the national network. But we were on accident. And it's a little unclear sort of how other jurisdictions in Colorado are using our data because they are subscribed to the national network. So that's kind of confusing. What we've also been told on Flock is that they don't gather faces, races, gender, etc. Right there, they are saying that they don't gather the information through the windshield. But what became kind of confusing to me in the task force meeting was how are you solving crimes if you're not capturing images of people, other than just like a car drove through the intersection at this time. So I think more information to come there. It's also unclear to me from a technology perspective if the cameras are gathering people's faces and then blurring them out, because that would suggest that actually faces are gathered, or if there's some sort of like erasure from the beginning. So don't know, more to come. And there are many members on the task force, I will say. It's not a small group. Okay. Let's see. Moving into board business. Scheduling a community forum with EDOS Gardner. Daniel, can you sort of just like give the basics to the team here, and then we can sort of figure out what's next.
Happy to. Do we want to do minutes before that? Minutes approval?
Oh, sure. Can we approve the minutes? We have 2 rounds, right? Because we didn't approve. Oh, yeah, August.
We were a little
and
bit busy
22nd.
during our meeting with Chief Thomas, and we just didn't quite get to
It
minutes.
wasn't our highest priority at that meeting. So if I can have a motion to approve the August 8th.
So moved.
Okay, thank you. And all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, motion passes. Okay, let's move into more meaty items. Go
There's
ahead.
August
We
22nd.
also need the 22nd.
Oh, sorry, I was asking for a joint, but
Oh,
fine. Can I
so
have a motion
sorry.
to approve the August 22nd minutes?
I move the August 22nd minutes be approved.
Great. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thanks. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Great, thank you. Daniel, tell us
Great.
about the forum.
Yes, and so given, just as background, given the new executive director of public safety, Elk Gardner, is headed straight into budget season with city council this month, and probably, you know, into next month a little bit. During the day, they would we're required to meet with the executive director each quarter. We have not yet met with the executive director in quarter 3. Quarter 3 ends at the end of the month. And so we originally planned to meet with Saldate in July. He canceled because it was his last day. We were going to meet with Chief of Staff, acting executive director, Jeff Holliday. He is no longer the best person to meet with because there is a new nominee, an interim appointment, I guess, until confirmed, but Al Gardner. And so we need to meet with him by the end of the month. And the 26th, which is our next meeting, they have not said no, he cannot meet with us then, but they have expressed a preference for an evening meeting, given that the days are going to be filled with a lot of hard to reschedule meetings. And so the hope is that we would be able to convert that meeting into a evening community forum, which would give Mr. Gardner the chance to introduce himself both to us and to the community, introduce any sort of priorities he has coming in, and then also have an opportunity for the community to engage with him more directly in an introductory way. And so we need to get, if we want to move forward with that, we need to get a date or a couple that we would want to do that, and try to get that on his calendar as soon as possible. The options
Have they
are
provided
really,
us with dates that he's available?
they have
Maybe
not yet.
start there. Okay, can we maybe start?
And so we could, I mean, the dates are pretty limited. It's either the
Right.
22nd to the 25th or the 29th and 30th.
Yeah.
So the last,
I guess
like
for my
5
purposes,
evenings.
I'm less concerned that we're like out of compliance with our mandate, because this was not, we had a scheduled meeting and they didn't show up to it. So I feel like we're not sort of at risk of some fault here, but you know, if we can do it in the September, October timeframe, I think that's, when are we scheduled next to meet with EDOS of Safety?
August 26th. Oh, next.
Next.
I'll pull it up. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
Our next meeting is November 14th with EDOS.
Okay.
That's our final meeting scheduled for the year with him.
Okay. So
And
September,
so,
October,
yeah.
fine. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Daniel, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I was just wondering if board members have a preference, if we could, you know, give a date or two, possibly in the 30th or the 23rd, 24th. I don't know what board members' availability is. It's probably a little,
It's
I don't know, it
tight.
could go
What
both
about
ways,
the
but
25th?
What day of the week is that?
That's a
Thursday.
Thursday?
Um,
Less than
We
a
would-
week, but more than 5 days.
yeah. I can make the 25th work.
I'm available.
Others?
And this is for the 25th of September.
Yeah.
25th is
Oh.
fine for me.
Yeah,
Don, you said yes?
At what time are we looking at, y'all? Sorry, I missed that part.
After in the evening
it's
sometime.
an after 5 timeframe because he's wanting to not have to postpone, I guess, or reschedule daytime meetings.
Budget meeting.
And that also could afford us time to get the community a little bit more involved so that it's not a 10 o'clock in the morning kind of time frame.
Yeah, I'm booked until after 7.
Okay.
Would people be willing to do an after 7 time frame?
that gets messy for a lot of calendars
Yeah.
and families.
Yeah.
I
But
know.
I mean, let's take that as a starting date, because it looks like it works for at least a quorum of members. Timesha, is that a day that's available for you? Or an evening? I don't think we can hear you. Okay, well, let's do this, Daniel. Let's do like a doodle of the 24th, 25th. See what we got there. Okay, Tamisha's saying she's good on the 25th. I'd also like to check with Al if there's like, what does evening mean? So if we can get a little sense of that, like if we could have a 4 to 6 or a 5 to 6 or 5 to 7:30, 6:30, something like that. Maybe that's just be done with it.
5 to 6:30 maybe?
Yeah. Okay. So that's a good place for us to start. What else do we have on this agenda? Let's see, maybe the community engagement team can highlight sort of where we are with the letters, to whom and when, which letter. I know there were some emails sent this week, and I think Tamisha sent me an email, and the question was like, is it this letter? And I'm like, I think I've lost track. So can we hear from the community engagement committee what their thinking is on letters about
Sure.
EBT? Thank you.
So we have 10 signatures. Do we have an additional one yet? Daniel, did Ministerial Alliance respond?
I have not heard back,
Okay.
but perhaps I think Karen was the one in primary contact there.
Well, you were going to reach out. and
Yeah,
make it
I
time.
yes,
Okay. And I don't think
and
we
I did.
heard from anybody,
Yes, we
right?
did, and I don't think we've heard back
Okay.
unless they responded directly to Karen.
Right, so we have 10, and our thinking is that we should go ahead and publish with these additional revisions, meaning that they're updated since the time that we circulated the letter. And just to counter the narrative that there's overwhelming support for this policy, that's why we are thinking that we need to get that letter out to show the different groups that are not in support of this policy. So we would want to get that published today. And that's our recommendation. Do we need a motion? Or can we just go
So
ahead?
is that going to EDOS? Is it going to DPD or
No,
both?
this is the community sign-on letter that was indicating
addressed to-
concerns.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's addressed to the mayor, EDOS, and police chief.
Okay.
But was sort of designed to be an open letter.
Okay.
I would just like to add that the other piece to this is that in meeting with the community groups, a lot of them, one of the things that we heard in common from all of them is the effectiveness of COB, and just them feeling like there wasn't a lot of value in participating in meetings and stuff. So we didn't want to contribute to that by going out and asking them to be supportive of a letter and then kind of sitting on it or not doing
Sure.
anything with it.
Makes sense.
Correct.
Okay. Great.
So.
And I have the letter finalized and ready to send whenever and whoever wants to send it. I don't know, Julia, that should probably come from you.
Sure.
But I can send you the sort of final version of that letter
Okay.
Great.
with, you know, the date updated and the new EDOS name on it. And
Okay.
I believe we took out 2 small subsections, one that related to the training, since the new policy does say training will not count towards annual EBD training will not count towards annual requirements. And then another one about the appendix of eligible policies not being included since that has now been published. So,
Okay.
But those are 2 small.
It's always time to unpublish it, though, it turns out, just, you know, by the minute. Okay.
Get it out before anything else happens.
Right. Based on the time frame of this exact second, this is what we know to be true. And so would a board member like to make a motion to approve this letter and send it today?
So moved.
Second.
Great. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, let's get it done. I'll do it after we close our meeting out today. Okay. Let's see. I am happy to open the meeting to public comment. It looks like Regan Benson. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rufina.
There was an additional board business regarding Holy Elk Face.
Oh, yes.
Is Holy Elk Face?
I have lost track on that. So somebody remind me what the matter. I know what the matter is, but what is the discussion for today?
Yeah, during the last community engagement committee meeting, there was, I think the topic was raised and there was some question as to whether or not it is sort of fully closed out, whether I believe at an earlier meeting over the summer, I think Alfredo had volunteered to chat with Mrs. Holy Elk Face privately. I don't know if that's happened. I have spoken to the attorneys and communicated to them that we've done what we can. I guess now with a new EDOS, maybe there's an opportunity, but and whether the board, I think there are some members of the board who weren't sure if it was fully closed and just wanted to get some closure there. Make sure that if it's not closed, it is, we're doing what we can.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to see her in person, but I did reach out to a mutual connection to get in contact with her.
So you haven't seen her in those, I guess there were meetings that
No, I
you
haven't.
weren't participating. Yeah. For me, I'll speak for myself. I was the one proposing that we send some communication from the board itself. Given the amount of time that she had spent coming to our meetings, sharing with us her concerns regarding her son's death, I thought it warranted at least a final communication that we have attempted what we could, and that we appreciated her coming to us, and just something along those lines to at least sort of finally putting this to some end.
I guess my feeling is based on the last communication we had with the attorneys, that feels like a good step on our end to sort of close the loop. Uh, I feel fine sending an email that just says, on this date, we reached out to your attorneys and provided, you know, had a discussion. And, should you need anything more or, want to update us on your case, we're happy to engage with you in the
And
future.
thank you for your time and efforts,
You can do that.
something along those lines.
Does anyone have
And
objections?
didn't they ask us if we would do a letter or something more public? Could you remind me what the attorney last requested?
Yeah, I communicated to the attorney that the board had done what it could in trying to advocate for her on her behalf, I suppose. And sort of the parting request was if the board was willing to make a public statement in support of Mrs. Holy Elk Face, they would appreciate that.
Did they have more details
Like
on
a formal public statement saying, we didn't discuss the particulars that they were looking for, but I would imagine something to the effect of the DOS has been
unhelpful?
Has not given her the records that she deserves access to.
Yeah, and what wasn't the case a contributing reason for the fact that we have put it in one of our is it our I forget now which document it was in, either our annual report making a recommendation about individuals receiving reports within X time without cost, that kind of thing. Am I conflating something here, or is that correct?
I don't believe we put anything like that in our annual report last year. I think there's
Some
the
sort of a
law.
recommendation, didn't we, about costs to individuals asking for reports?
I think it was a question that was raised by.
We have put in our annual reports that closure letters should include more information.
Okay. Okay.
That's different.
Because the new police closure letters say your case has been closed. We sustained it. If you want more information, file a records request and pay the fee. And we don't want them to do that.
Okay.
But that's separate from sort of a formal. If they are filing a records request, we haven't made a recommendation that request be free of charge.
So maybe this, rather than sort of shouting in the wind, when we meet with the new EDOS, we can raise this issue and the challenges that it created for this individual, and highlight that their, EDOS response in this case was insufficient and unhelpful. I don't know what folks think about that.
I like that. That's at
I
least
agree.
giving something. Yeah,
More action oriented than just like
exactly.
performative. Okay. So let's do that. And it sounds like also action item is I will send an email to Miss Holy Elk Face and say what we said.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for bringing that back up. Okay. Are there any other matters for board attention in the public version of this meeting? And
I did want to mention that I thought it was a very good showing of COB members at the Brother Jeff's town hall. I would like to, and this is something that I did not mention because I hadn't thought about it, to the Community Engagement Committee, but I do think that we should also perhaps have something akin to that on the west side of Denver that might be more targeted to the Latino community and to the communities that are on the west side. With the board's approval, I'd like to just move forward on a community forum format on the west side at some point in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. Don't all shout at once.
Good idea.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Karen. And so we'll be working on that. The Community Engagement Committee will be working on that.
Would you want Brother Jeff to facilitate that town hall as well?
No, I think in that instance, we might bring a local Latino community leader for that. Because this one will be in Spanish and in English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's why. But we don't have details yet, Karen. This is a new idea. And so that's why you hadn't heard about it.
All right.
Thanks. Okay.
Okay, great. Let's see. I forgot that we had somebody waiting for public comment. So Daniel, if we can promote Regan Benson from participant or attendee to participant, that would be great. Good morning, good morning, Reagan. Thank you for joining us today. I understand you would like to make a comment, so the floor is yours. We have about 2 minutes for your comment.
2 minutes.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, you guys need to get a format for public comment, please. I spent all my time preparing my statement. Anyway, okay.
Feel free to go through your statement. If it's a little longer, we can accommodate that. So just let me know what you need.
Well, I wanted to document a couple things. First of all, I want to thank all of you. Listening to this latter part of your discussion, really focusing on what this board's job is, and that's responding to community and representing all of us out here. So thank you for the work that you did for the woman who lost her son. That was incredibly important. It rocks me to my core to listen and see people suffering because they can't get answers from this police department. And so thank you for that. And on the topic of transparency for the public, Ms. Collier, I want to thank you for your comments at the Brother Jeff forum, not your comments, your actual questions for the chief that he did not answer, which in fact led me to have a communication thread with Chief Thomas this past week about why my complaint, being a 1.5 years old, has just stalled. So I shared some communication with the board. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to review that. I think that is good public information to go off of, and I'm hopeful to get an answer from the monitor's office to the question that I posed about at what juncture were recommendations made to the Denver Police Department that are apparently holding up the process in the conduct review hearing process. See, these are the things that the public doesn't understand. And we have no one. We only get to rely on you and the monitor to tell us. And I appreciate everybody's work on education-based development. I don't support any of it. It's a cop-out. This police department is never going to fully hold their officers accountable. And so for the very reason of leaving out complete and thorough, I understand why. DPD wants the ability to not investigate. And this isn't anything new. This goes back to the early 2000s. I've been filing complaints and utilizing this process since 2013. As an activist, as an executive director of a nonprofit that does direct street outreach with the homeless community, being very vocal with DPD, I'm a target. And the targeting never stops with DPD. You may or may not know they want me to turn myself in again. They've written a probable cause statement. They don't want to get a judge's signature on it, but they're going to throw some more stuff to the wall to see what sticks. Case will get dropped. It'll go away. I'll file a complaint. Nothing will happen. They'll do it again. This is number 7 for me in the last few weeks, few years. I apologize. When is this gonna stop? It's never gonna stop. But I do not want that to be construed as unthankfulness for your work, to continue to hold them accountable, to rewriting something that just, it doesn't matter. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Again, thank you for your time. And I do appreciate the time commitment that you give us out here. Thank you.
Thanks for your comment, questions, or discussion with Regan by board members.
Miss Benson, if you wanted to send us your complete written statement, if you didn't feel like you actually expressed all of that, feel free to send that to us, please.
Thank you.
Great.
I do have a follow-up just in terms of some of the statement. These seem to be some pretty serious allegations. And wondering if there's anything in the past that has corroborated them. Because as you mentioned, Ms. Benson, this is something that has been ongoing over the last 7 years. And curious about the
Thank you.
Yep.
I can add to that. I appreciate it. It's retaliation. It's pure 100% retaliation for my speech and activism. I'm currently suing high-ranking commanders of the Denver Police Department and the city of Denver. And just for clarification, Mr. Reyes, it's like my 7th arrest in the past several years. But like I said, even back in 2013, when I was active, and filed my very first complaint using this process, I've stayed involved in various aspects of policing. I think it's the job of the community to hold the police accountable. They do not like to be recorded. What is going on here is pure retaliation. And having sent Chief Thomas and Chief Rick Kyle an email outlining this current attempt of allowing his department and his officers to write probable cause statements without a judge's signature is just more retaliation. And lo and behold, I received no response.
Gotcha. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're experiencing this, and thank you for being here and presenting your statement, Ms. Benson.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Ms. Benson did share that letter with that she sent to Chief Thomas and Chief, I believe it's Division Chief Kyle. So I'll be forwarding that to you all this afternoon as well.
Great, thank you. Okay, I think we do not have anyone else who has raised their hand for public comment, so we will shift to the monitor. Monitor Castle, do you have anything to cover in the public forum?
Thank you. Just quickly going back to the new draft of the EBD. Yes, there have been changes, but I would not say, I think these changes look better, but are not necessarily better. So for example, the fact that they must admit responsibility, I believe is the language, is not the same as holding them accountable. It is not a sustained finding. And again, EBD violations are not sustained findings, so they cannot be used in aggravation. The draft, the newest draft that talks about aggravation, we don't know what that means. We don't know how that is possible, because according to the handbook, the only way that you can use a violation in aggravation is if there is a sustained finding. So I don't know if they're talking about within the EBD parameter, if they're talking about subsequent misconduct that is not handled by EBD. Again, it is very vague. It is not clear, it is not direct, and my continuing concern is that many of the draft policies are vague, allowing them then to interpret how they're going to be used. So I have continuing concerns, and I'll repeat it again. This is not just an issue of what kinds of violations should be handled by EBD. We are against EBD at this time in total, before we ever even get to a discussion about which offenses should fall within this development program.